On Saturday, I revealed my brand new R33 GTR, and I told you guys that we were gonna have some fun and race all three of my GTRs around the compound, and here is the fun that ensued. I don't know if it is for you guys, but this is the most exciting part of the video for me, because I actually haven't driven the car yet, and the first time we're gonna be driving it, we're gonna be doing a lap around the compound. Obviously, we've done our due diligence to make sure the car is safe, make sure fluids and bolts are all tight, but to make it even spicier, we're gonna use this video as a time to get lap times for not only the new 33, but the 32 and the 34 as well. Namely, the biggest difference between all three of these cars, apart from the fact that this is essentially a 400 horsepower car and the other ones are making almost 700, this R33 still has the factory 5-speed. Both of the other cars have the same rear diff and front diff ratios with a 6-speed. So the ratios are shorter, which I think will play into their advantage on this course. I am excited though. This would be like the iteration of if you were like some pretty well-off dude in Japan, dropped your car off at a Mori factory and then had like a little mountain cruiser. So I'll get to have the experience back in the day of what like a pretty spicy R33 without going through all the HKS bolt-ons and everything would be. So we'll take the 33 out, then I think we'll do the 34. We'll save the 32 till last because I think that 32 might break the compound record. Now before we go and take the R33 out for its first lap, we're gonna weigh it and see how it compares to the R32 and the R34 GTR. Just as a refresher, my R32 GTR weighed 3,200 pounds flat, my R34 GTR weighed 3,526, and the R33 weighs in at a whopping 3,521, so just ever so slightly lighter than the R34, but for all intents and purposes, the same. And if you didn't watch my last video on this car, it's actually a pretty interesting setup. So it has the S1 package from Nismo Omori, which is essentially like an OEM refreshed engine with N1 internals, ported cylinder heads, slightly bigger camshafts, and upgraded Nismo turbos. It's rated for about 400 horsepower, and we saw on the dyno it did make exactly 398 to the hubs. If you watched the reveal video on the R33, you know that we did indeed take out this little boost restrictor and it netted us about 20 extra horsepower. However, when this video was filmed, this was still in the car. So in this video, the R33 is making 380 wheel, not the almost 400 that it made with the restrictor removed. Quick interruption, we have less than 2 weeks left for you to get entered for a chance to win our Mark IV Supra and $20,000 cash. It's gonna be starting, it's gonna be ripping this week, and you're not gonna wanna miss your chance to get entered. We also just dropped a brand new shirt. It literally went live right with this video. It's a single color, pretty cool Supra graphic tee, as well as the matching hoodie. And we also got a bunch of other stuff restocked on the site. We need a set of coilovers. If you need a bolt kit, Type S underglow, heatwave sunglasses, Grio's detailing products, we got you covered, and it's gonna get you a buttload of entries for a chance to win the car. Link is in the description, and as always, we appreciate your support immensely. All right, first lap's in the 33. Let's see how it feels. Clutch grabs at the top. So I actually think this car is going to be pretty good just because of the fact that it's got such a smooth power band and 275 NT01s. Wow. Watch this be the fastest. Ooh, brakes are not as good as I expected. Ooh, I got to be careful on the brakes. Power and grip though is actually pretty good for the compound. Woo! Maybe I just need a little heat in the brakes. I was a little scary with that pond coming up. Overall though, like first lap out, and it's definitely fast enough to be fun, and I can't say the same about my 34 when I got it. Mind you too, after the fact, we realized that we left the boost restrictor in. If I took that out, I probably could have got like another 50 horsepower on the dyno. Kind of mad I didn't do that, but it is what it is. I think a stock GTR on good tires is actually way faster than I thought it would be. It's so cool because here, it's such a slow course that it kind of levels the playing field of like big power stuff. Because this thing just having the response that it does and having really good tires, like it's moving. It's definitely moving a lot. Need to remember to warm up brakes though in the future because I almost went in the pond. That would have not been good. All right, R33 hot lap. Let's see what this baby can do. Sorry, clutch. God, the amount of corner speed this thing has, it's gonna be a quick one. I can get on the throttle throttle so early with how responsive it is. Little understeery after that braking zone. Woo! Tires are getting greasy. God, that's a good car. This is a really good time. It like feels so underwhelming in a straight line, but it's actually so playful and happy. And the good tires, man, it makes a difference. I'm not gonna lie, after the first corner, I knew the R33 was gonna be fast, even though it was not the most high power GTR. Gotta give a massive shout out to the 275 NT01s, and I think that is why that is now our new 4th place with a 29.56. Just a 1/10 of a second slower than a 992 GT3. So even though it's a short little autocross style course, it's pretty cool that the old boat can still put up a fight. Before we take out the 34 GTR for a lap, quick refresher on the engine setup. It has twin Garrett 2860 Gen 2 turbos, makes about 670 wheel at like 32 pounds of boost. It's a 2.6 bottom end built with HKS V-cam, super responsive, but obviously it's a 34 GTR, so it weighs a bit. Having 411 gear ratios from a 32 GTR helps this thing stay quick and in the power band, so we'll see what this thing can do around the compound circuit. This is probably gonna be the hardest I've ever driven my baby. A little worried about rubbing, especially in the front with all my fender liner and stuff. We'll see how she takes it. It's a good car, it's a heavy car, but it's no real heavier than the R33, so it should put down a time that is comparable to the 33, if not faster, unless if the R33 has a tire advantage with those NT01s. This thing's on 265, that car's on a 275 NT01. R888s on this thing are kind of old and all right, R34, first lap. Whoa, buddy. Definitely a little more dicey. I don't remember, I think I still have ABS on it. No rubbing yet. It's a lot more of a handful than the 33. Woo! That third gear shift is gonna come up quick. God damn it! Woo! Brakes on this thing, either they need some heat in them or... Man, the 33 was so fast and so calm. This thing has my heart beating at like 1,000,000 miles an hour. So much going on, dancing all over the place. Brakes definitely need to get on them a little bit sooner. We're gonna have a 34 in the pond. Woo! This thing might not be fast enough to get my heart racing like driving on the highway, but I don't think I've ever been more, I don't want to say terrified, but on the edge of my seat driving around the compound. Part of it might be the fact that the car's a handful and kind of dances around a lot, but I think the other part of it is it's probably the most expensive car that I'll ever toss around this place. But I got a big smile on my face, and that's what cars are for. All right, 34 fast lap. Let's see what this puppy can do. Carrying a lot of speed in here, whoa! It's such a handful in the best way possible. God, it's so fast coming at that corner. I am all over the place in the best way possible. God, I'm carrying so much speed. It's such a big car to slow down too. And back on the front. God, I don't know if it looks like as much of a time warp on camera as it feels in real life, but it's like I'm in a rocket ship that weighs 4,000 pounds. I guess that's not far off from what's actually occurring. Mega smiles driving this thing, mega smiles. This is what I built this car for. I don't feel like like I've smiled this hard driving this car ever. It is so lively, it's so out of control, and it really bums me out that I don't get to drive this car more often like this. Florida roads suck. Maybe I'll need to bring this thing up north. What an amazing car that's way too fast for its own weight. Woo! The R34 was faster than the R33 as I expected, but just barely, a tenth of a second faster with a 29.48, making it an exact tie with the 992 GT3. Before I do lap in the R32 GTR, quick refresher on the setup. This does have a Getrag 6-speed out of a 34, so it has the same close gear ratios, and this engine is actually a parts catalog HKS 2.8. Not built by HKS, but all HKS internals, HKS Step 2 VCAM, and then an old school, I guess new old school HKS journal bearing turbo. It's a little laggy, but it makes 650 wheel, explosive power band, sounds great, and I'm excited to see how fast this thing can do a lap around the compound. All right, now old girl I think might be the fastest around the compound. Not only does it have a good tire, but it's got pretty rigid suspension on it. It's light, it's got good brakes. Can I drive it though? We'll find out. All right, get a good launch. Wow, bogged it a little bit, but this thing pulls so hard. God, it's like an animal, I can't even tame it. It's so snappy. Oof. That was a close one. The power band on this thing is so explosive that it's really hard to not just blow the tires off out of every corner, which is kind of surprising because I thought that it being a 2.8 and single would have a little bit more mid-range, but I think the 34 actually reigns supreme in this, which is interesting because each car kind of like has its own benefit that I wasn't really expecting. This one, fast as boy. R32 GTR hot lap, we got the brakes, we got the power, but do we have the driver? Carry so much speed coming through here. Little understeer, but not too bad. God damn, this thing is insane. Woo! I appreciate GTRs in every facet, but I have to tell you, if you want a highway GTR, maybe consider building one for a road course, because the amount of excitement you get from an all-wheel drive car that still dances around like a rear-wheel drive car, makes sounds like this, and feels the way that this car feels, is like so good. Now, as I expected, the R32 was indeed the fastest car of the bunch. The real third place is the R32 GTR with a 29.30. Now, It's so close to beating the Evo 5. I think there's a lot more left in the car once I can try to manage putting the power down. If I put something bigger than a 255 NT01 on it, I bet it could probably beat the Turbo S. But the Turbo S did a 29.19, like one finger on the wheel cruising. The R32 GTR did a 29.30, like driving it like a bat out of hell. Overall though, I think it is absolutely insane how we have all three GTRs within like 3/10 of each other. Yes, it's a 30-second lap, but still, like if it was a minute-long lap, that would be within 6/10 of each other, and they're wildly different cars, wildly different weights, different tire setups, but all were very fun to drive. I'm still baffled that these three cars are within 3/10 of each other. I told you guys that I would discuss my plans with my new R33 at the end of this video. Now, there is some truth to that, but part of it, I'm not really solidified on what I want to do with it. What I do know is I don't want three of the same car, and even though they are so different, as you can see by lap times, they're actually pretty similar. My 32 right now and my 34, very similar in power. However, single turbo, twins. I'm pretty confident that I want the 34 to scale up to closer to, like, let's just say 1,000 horsepower, but still have a big drivable mid-range, so it's like a nice street car. My 32 is the balance machine. I don't think that thing needs anything more than 650 horsepower. I love it in its iteration, just maybe at some point I'll upgrade to a modern turbo. So where does this thing fit in the puzzle? I feel like RBs are notorious for having that beautiful high RPM scream, and I feel like my soul and my gut is telling me that this car needs to be a high revving, huge turbo, like actually intentionally laggy compared to the two other cars, to have the complete opposite end of the spectrum, like highway, roll racing style, hybrid between, like, let's say Japanese and Australian style in terms of build and drivetrain. I feel like that's where my mind is, but I'm not sold on it. What is important is right now in its current form, I thought it was gonna be a lot more lackluster than it is. So I do think I'm gonna likely enjoy this car for many months to come. If we do build it, it'll probably be after the 34 goes to its next setup. So this will probably be like a next year build in terms of engine and power and all that stuff. But in the meantime, I've got a few aesthetic bits to do to it to bring it up to looking at least where I want it to look. And you know, maybe it'll just be a reliable pump gas car that I can drive around and replace the, I almost said the D word, daily. I didn't call it my new daily because it's not going to be my new daily. But paint correct it, get it looking right. I'm curious what you guys want to see with it. You know, I'm sure you guys don't want to see the same build over and over again, but this one we will probably restore and we'll build it to be a very special machine. As for the S1 parts, I don't know what will happen to them, if some of them will remain, if I'll sell them, if it'll go in another car. I guess time will find out, but more than anything, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you didn't see the video fully going through this R33, it was the last one I just uploaded. Go check it out. It was a lot of fun to make. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys soon.